doing today?
Hey, good morning, buddy. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. All right, guys, let's take a quick look of what we had on watch yesterday. There was a lot going on. I did have a very short list, only a few, about four or five yesterday, starting with JMI. And again, continues to just surprise us with the type of trading the stock is doing. So yesterday also had a pretty nice pop here right at the open. Pre-market, it looked like it was did a double bottom in the pre-market here. And again, you had a continuation into the market open, plus the breakout of this pre-market high. We talk a lot about that being significant levels at pre-market high and pre-market low, especially at the open. When you have a lot of momentum, you can see how great this thing took off here. So nice trade there. It did continue even further up to some more levels and then eventually came back down a little bit. But again, overall, a beautiful start here and a great continuation for JM. IA. SRNE was a little bit rough at the open, guys. You did get a beautiful engulfing pattern here. If you were looking for a 5 minute breakdown, you would have gotten faked out on this one. But overall, it gave you a nice little reversal play here. You can see the beautiful continuation, nice pullback right into the VWAP. Not the cleanest chart looking at it, right? Again, this was not as clean, but if you needed to have a good entry to be able to hold through some of these pullbacks. And then after that, guys, just gets very, very choppy. It does eventually lose the VWAP, but in this area here, just look at how these candles are being formed. It was definitely not the cleanest trading chart after the open there. mRNA, guys, this was just brutal. I mean, this stock was really all over the place. Great for a scalping opportunity right out of the gates. But then the chop comes in, and it's just the pullbacks are aggressive. The drops continue to be on the other side also very aggressive. So very difficult to stay long term or any in any kind of time in this chart in this trade. Hold through a pullback like this or any kind of position. It was very, very tough. You can see how choppy it is in here. You can see every candle overlapping the previous candle. So again, just nothing clean on mRNA. Eventually, it does go into a beautiful trading range here towards the end of the day, but for the most part, a very tough market open there. All right, let's take a look over at American Airlines. That's also was on our list. A beautiful pop here, guys, as well. I lost my levels on here, but I know it hit the pre-market high. Yeah, right here. I don't know why my levels got erased, but pre-market high at 1344. We had this on our list, and you can see how great the breakout was when it hit that level. So again, a beautiful pop here. You do have somewhat of an ABC bull flag happening here right at the open. And then just look at the breakout here, guys. Just an amazing thing here when it comes to American Airlines yesterday. Then from there, it gets toppy. It does trickle back down to the VWAP. It becomes short. But again, this open here was definitely the move. I also had WFC, and I know Jared has some other banking stocks as well. Not as clean, guys. Again, didn't like this drop here. Then this indecision at the moment. It did pop up again, but again, this was not clean. So I quickly took my eyes off of it and started focusing on other things on here. So that is what we had yesterday. Today, we have a very nice gappers list, a lot gapping up this morning. We got a few things gapping down. So we'll get to them and see what's moving well today. We got some good names in here, and we got some serious double digit pops here. And it's funny, we almost had the same thing Friday, where a lot of these low flow stocks just are coming up out of nowhere. And on Friday, last Friday, we had a few. This Friday, we also have a few on here, at least three low flow stocks in some serious double digit numbers there. So we'll take a look at those. But first, let's see what's going on with the market pulse. We'll come back and go over this list in a second.
Yeah, man. So today, I've kind of mentioned it all week. Today is the day of economic data. Right when this show started, or right just before we came on, we had retail sales that were announced. So overall retail sales missed expectations. They came in at 1.2% for July versus 2% expectation. But the core retail sales, when you take out autos, came in at 1.9 versus 1.1. So I guess the quick read on that is that car sales were terrible. But when you took that out, things were better than expected. I kind of understand that. First of all, I think there's some supply issues. And then on top of that, you got far less people driving to work. So do they need a car? I mean, my wife drove her car yesterday for the first time, I think, in 8 weeks. So, anyway, productivity came up way higher than expected. And unit labor costs were a little bit higher. At 9:45, we got industrial production and capacity utilization Then at 10, this will be an interesting one. I believe it's the University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index. We'll see where that comes in, and business inventories at 10 a.m. I believe there's a couple of Fed speakers today, but I don't have who it is, and I don't have the time. So I will see if I can post that to the room a little bit later on. I just have not looked it up this morning. All that having been said, we were a little red on the SPY before those numbers came out at 8:30, and that seemed to have popped it up a little bit. We're right essentially at previous day close. As I've mentioned, we're in August. We are mostly done with earnings. Most of it's behind us. We still have a few big names coming up and a few big names reporting, yesterday and this morning and such. But overall, I would say that a lot of the volume has come out of the market, which is just typical for August. People taking vacations right before sending kids back to school. So pretty normal stuff in a very abnormal year.
All right, excellent. Yeah, it really is an abnormal year. And what you said about the car, it makes perfect sense. I mean, me and my wife decided to go to one car and we barely drive it, right? So, why get a car when you can go anywhere? So, here's a member trade of the day. I want to go back to the member trade of the day from actually, this was Wednesday. This was from Stock Operator. We missed to talk about it yesterday. So he had an amazing trade on Tesla here. So Stock Operator is a very active member that we have here. So great trade there on Tesla, beautiful entry, and just look at his partialing skills here, man. I mean, that's just perfect. At every high of this move here, of this trend play, he's taking a partial. Seems like he timed it, or they were waiting for him to partial out before he came for a pullback. So again, just an amazing trade there. Great job. And then yesterday's trade of the day goes to I believe this is Han. Han right here had an amazing ABCD pattern play, guys, on Apple. Just look at that entry as well. Beautiful entry there. He timed it perfectly. Nice stop. Great risk to reward. Even if you get just to the high of the day at that point, that's a beautiful risk to reward. But look at the play here. Keeps continues to head higher, and he does add here for the free roll. It helps him out nicely. Two free roll plays there, and then he does take some more out at the top, and then all out once it starts getting top, it looks like it's going to reverse. That's a great decision because look what happens after that. It comes back down towards that moving average. That's probably the 50 on the 1 minute there. So great trade, guys. Good job. Looking forward to see who's going to take the win today. Mike,
Those are some great trades there.
some really good trades,
I
making
don't
me
want to
jealous for
compete with
sure.
those. I
Yeah,
know.
exactly. I wouldn't be submitting my trades against that type of action there. So great job, guys. There. All right, let's take a look at what we have this morning, and let's start with what is gapping up today. Let's make some room on our list here, and we'll focus in on that. Okay, perfect. All right, let's start with the gap up today. MESO. This one it is up 50%. Horrible daily charts you can see here. Horrible pre-market action. 1.4. It has been halted already. Again, I want no part of this stock at all. Look how this daily is. It's 85 million shares flow. It is not. It is not a low flow stock. But again, this is not something you want to be involved in.
Just that this was this was halted on news this morning. That news was of an FDA vote from a committee in favor of a drug that they have for a children's disease.
Okay.
So
So yeah,
that's why it
guys.
was halted. Not that it won't get halted on volatility, but we don't get volatility halts in the pre-market.
Yeah.
They were
Yep.
halted for that news release, which then subsequently popped them up
Yeah.
50%.
So again, guys, it's pretty bad. Everything around this stock is bad right now. Again, they have some good news in it that might create some opportunities, some good trading, but overall, not anything we want to keep on deck here. What happened to my gap up scanners? That's just me or everybody else as well?
No, they're there.
Oh,
There
there it
you
is.
go.
Oh, it came back. Okay, here it is. KMDA, another one that's not looking all that great. This one, a little bit of a lower flow stock, sitting at 24 million shares flow. We have a pop of 25% here, 481. Again, a better pre-market action than what we just finished seeing, but it's still not great. Also, look at the volume on the daily, very light for the most part, under a million shares. All right, so again, I'm not something I want to keep an eye on, guys. TFFP, this one, man, is it ugly day today? What is going on?
Well, there's some better stuff down the list,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is low float stuff. And the weird thing is, there's got to be something out there. Well, there doesn't. Doesn't have to be. Um, I guess there was. They've got some kind of vaccine for, is it maybe COVID? I guess that there's an article in the Jerusalem Post saying that the first three Israelis treated with new passive vaccine recover and leave the hospital. So that's what's got them popping this morning.
Popping the balloon
Not
this
with a
morning. Yeah.
10-foot pole, buddy.
No way, not at all. So far, no luck, guys. Nothing clean. Let's look at BLNK. This one should be a little bit better. We have looked at this one before in the past. It is a low flow stock. I personally do not like the way this stock trades, but man, after seeing what we saw, this looks amazing. So the daily here, guys, pretty active so far. It looks like it wants to head back up here. You got some consolidation happening over the last couple of days between 11 and what seems to be 12 in the top of that 13, 16. So got a possibility. Got some good volume. It is not. It is a 9.1. I'm not. I know I'm not going to watch this one. I don't like the way it typically trades, but it is worth putting at least as a possible because we do have some potential here. Now this one, it is a little. It's that borderline of 21 million shares flow. I treat it like a low flow stock. I think you should as well. Also depending on what kind of volume we're going to get today on this one.
They had
FTC
earnings last night, by the way.
earnings. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good. FTCH. This one here also not the best pre-market activity, guys. This looks really choppy at the moment. It does have 123. We are up 9.3. The daily has been ripping over the last couple of days. So again, a pretty nice daily here. Pre-market needs to get a little bit better. It is a nicey stock. I just noticed that. So that can cost a little bit of not the best pre-market play here. Any news on
Yeah,
this one? This is a
and
good
this is,
pop.
well, it's a foreign company out of the UK. Yeah, they had earnings. I have not dug into it because I believe they beat the bottom line and they had a narrower loss than expected. That having been said, because it's foreign, I haven't spent a lot of time looking at this, and it trades
Hmm.
pretty low volume.
Yeah, I've noticed that too here, down over at 6.9. I gotta say their daily, I couldn't notice it was foreign right off the bat because their daily seems pretty well, at least from July till
Yeah.
now, been trending nicely. Going back to that, not as great, but we'll see. We'll keep it on here. Might move it down to a possible. We'll see what happens in the next couple of minutes here. NVAX, this one has a pretty crappy pre-market activity, some good volume, but let's see how I traded yesterday because this stock tends to not have the
It's
best pre-market
terrifying,
action.
man.
Did you watch it closely yesterday? I did not.
I traded it for about
Mhm.
4 seconds on Wednesday and
Oh
realized that
yes, yes.
it was a bucking bronco that I wanted no part of, and exited my trade. I think I made $9, and I was thrilled that I didn't lose any money on it.
Right,
But
right.
they do, I guess they do have a contract, new deal with the UK government, I believe, for COVID vaccines. That's what's popping them this morning. But once
Yeah.
again, this will be coming off my list.
Hmm, hmm.
The spread is usually pretty horrendous,
Well, that's
and
what I was gonna say.
it
The
moves
spread.
like a buck or two each direction, like at any given moment out of nowhere. So
Yeah.
no thanks.
I mean, if you take a decent size, not that you're taking a huge size, but if you take a decent size, which is your normal regular full size, and you got a spread of 80 cents plus to a dollar, even if the charts look great, that puts your P&L in a very tough position. So that's the problem
Well, I
with
might,
that.
if I go in a big position on something like that, I might have 1,000 shares of it.
Hmm,
And,
hmm.
right now, well, the spread's not too terrible right now, but it's
Yeah, it's not bad.
75 cents or whatever. I'm down $750 the second
Right.
I take the trade. No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. That's the issue there. And the trade could be going your direction, give you a small pullback, but to hold through that, it's not ideal. So we'll put it here as a possible, guys. I know again it could be a hit or miss. We've seen days where it trades very well and the spread is tight. So maybe today that could be the day, but for the most part, I have no high hopes on this. Let's look at AMAT this morning. They are up 3.6, 131,000 at the moment. Their daily's been breaking out of this 65 area here, so that's decent. Now, typically this stock does not have a great pre-market activity, does not trade all that great unless it has news. Norm, do we have any news on this one?
Earnings.
Uh, Earnings?
Earnings.
Okay, that's worth watching.
Yeah,
Yeah,
knocked it out of the park. So,
yeah.
yeah, they're up on their earnings news. I mean, semiconductor space has been on fire, working from home and data centers and all that kind of stuff. So,
Hmm.
they even beat their high expectations, and you see they've had a pretty good run here over the last few months. As it is, they ran up
Yeah.
into earnings, and they're gapping up on top of that. This is definitely one that'll be on my list today.
Yeah, I love the daily on here, and I know you guys are probably think if you just started watching our pre-market prep here, this does not look like a great pre-market action, but we know AMAT it tends to do this, and it can still give you an amazing
Yeah.
trading day. Let's look at Tesla, guys. Just continues to rip higher here, man. This thing might just come up and test this all-time high of 1790. So at the moment, guys, great pre-market action,
Is that
381,000 shares traded.
17,090 you're predicting? I'm just kidding.
Seriously,
This
man.
thing's been on fire.
It's just incredible. So right back up here, up 2.6. Same thing was up yesterday, another 2.6 or 3% as well. Didn't run as much as the last day, but again, still just continues to just chip off here, heading towards that upside target. So again, good volume, good price action. I'm not gonna watch it, but if
So,
you do like this one,
no.
I'll put it here
Yeah,
as a
put it on
possible
your
for you.
list to make levels. I just want to point out
Yeah.
that part of the reason for their catalyst this morning is an analyst at Morgan Stanley upgraded them from underweight, which is essentially a sell rating, to an
Hmm.
equal rate, which is a neutral rating. They're neutral on this stock. Let's see here. July 7th, they maintained their underweight rating with the price target of $740. Will you look about July 7th and see where this stock was and see what it's done from here? How does
Yeah,
this
talk.
guy still have a job?
It's like the weather, man. I'll tell you, man. When I retire from trading, I want to have a job like that. You know, me and you will have a job like that. We'll create another show after this, and we'll be analysts. And trust me, we'll be great. Cannot be wrong. Look at this thing. So
Guy probably makes seven figures a year, probably gets a bonus that would buy a house that most people would be happy to live in. And it just, oh,
don't worry, Norm. We'll get there. That's what we got to look forward to. So, guys, Tesla is definitely active. We have it on our possibles list here. I'm not going to trade, but we'll do levels for it because again, it is an active stock, and I know some people that do like trading these higher price stocks like this, right? I know on our list as well. We'll do a few more here on our gapping up list before it continues to get bigger. So I know here, not the best pre-market action, very light on the volume. I know 158, but we know how much volume this stock trades. It looks like we might just be getting a little bit of a bounce over the last couple of days. This stock has been getting slammed. Had a green day yesterday, and today possible continuation. We're up only 2.6. But look at how the volume has decreased, right? Look at the volume. This was what, Thursday. We have Wednesday and Tuesday. So Tuesdays and Wednesday, we had a great volume. Look at the range. Yesterday, not so much, kind of an indecision type day. And today, possible continuation towards the top side if we can get the volume. Again, just notice how great this thing trades when it has good volume, right? So we'll put it here as a possible at the moment. I do not like the pre-market action as much. Let's take a look at VXRT because this was one that we've been tracking closely, not doing a whole lot today. Very choppy, guys, and it seems to be, again, still holding this $9 support here. Has been a great area of support for this stock. Has not been able to drop that, but again, just not much going on at the moment. Let's take a look at a few that are in our gapping down list. BF, we got a couple of low flows coming in. The next three are all low flow stocks sitting at 21, CODX at 25, and EQ at 6. But so BFRA right now, horrible action, guys, here. Very light on the volume, only 2 million shares as their most traded volume in this type of a daily chart here. So again, just careful with this, guys. Careful, careful. This thing went from $7 to 55 with only a million shares traded. I mean, just think about that for a second. How dangerous that could be. And if you're caught in the wrong side, or even if you're on the right side, holding through a pullback, it will just can really just blow up your account on a single pullback, right? So just be mindful of that. This is not something you want to be involved here. CODX. Again, another one that's been just getting hammered as well. Went up as high as 31. We had some pretty good days here, some pretty good plays, intraday plays, and also pre-market action plays. Today, there's over the last couple of days, it's getting slammed. Today, they're down 14.3. The issue with this stock, though, it has been reading the price action has been brutal. So just keep that in mind. It's not an easy stock to read. Look at the open yesterday. It's just an insane drop from 21 down to 1850 here. So
they
again,
had
just be
earnings last
mindful of
night, by the
that.
way.
Earnings. So yeah, we'll put it
Yeah.
on here. Earnings could create some opportunities for them today. But just be mindful of that stock. EQ, 6.5 million shares flow. Also not looking great, guys. Very light on the volume. They're down 11%. They had a drop here, earnings. I'm assuming some kind of news last night on EQ. But again, lower flow stock. Look at the daily here. Doesn't trade a whole lot of volume. We had one day here with almost 100 million shares. After that, it's just kind of been chopping
They
around
got a
and just
secondary.
trending lower. And
They
on top
pro-
of that,
they've got a
secondary.
sec. They've got a secondary. That's what's going on there
Yeah, that's not even
on
great there.
EQ.
So we'll skip on that one. IQ, we haven't seen this one in a bit. Making a nice appearance today, down 10%, 1.4. So I like this one. Uh, we'll put that one on there and see what the deal is. Any news on this, Norm? It's a big drop for them.
Which one?
IQ?
IQ. Yes, big news for IQ. Um, they announced earnings last night, but they have an SEC investigation into the company. So
Mm, very nice. That
Chinese
is.
company, SEC
Mhm,
investigation. I think you know
mhm.
my thoughts.
Oh yeah. So we'll keep it on here, guys. See what we get out of there. We'll see what is happening with this one again. Down 10%. They're back at the top of this, at the bottom of this gap up, right? This gap range here. So we'll see what IQ does this morning. A few more. Let's do three more here. Nova, at the moment, down 10%, 141. Horrible pre-market action at the moment, but it is a nicey stock, and that can get a little bit better as we get closer to the open. Now, what I don't like about this one right now is the volume is very light for most part on any given day. Today could be the difference maker as they're down quite a bit after a beautiful run here, consolidating around 28, 27, and 29 looks like a little bit of a drop there. Norm, any good news on this or any not good, but any news
On
that
which
we
one?
Nova?
I have not looked because I think it just
Yeah.
popped up.
Yeah, it's just getting in our scanners here. GST.
Secondary offering.
Secondary. Take it off. I'll remove it. And the reason why we remove secondary offering, guys, is they typically do not have a good intraday play. Again, some days they might, some days they trade very well, but for the most part they do not. I'll look at DraftKings and then we'll take it to the room. DraftKings right now, very active, guys. 874,000 shares traded. Daily though, I gotta say the daily has been really choppy over the last couple of days. Let's take a look how the intraday has been for these guys. Yeah, a rough start here, but it did trend higher eventually, and so pre-market action. We definitely have a very active pre-market action. This was on the 12th. I believe this was Wednesday. Wednesday did have a beautiful trading day on Wednesday here, so that was nice. Could be a hit or miss. Down today, 5.8. Some good volume. I think we can add this one, VKNG. All right, perfect. All right, guys. Norm, what do you like aside from what we have already?
Rocket Mortgage RKT.
RKT.
It's a recent IPO. It's really traded
Yeah.
pretty well and getting a big pop this morning on their first earnings report or it's not earnings. I think they gave a quarterly update, but nevertheless, they're just killing it this morning. So it didn't hit our scanners since it's a new
Mhm.
IPO. There's no float data in trade ideas, and that's why it didn't hit. Otherwise, it meets all the criteria necessary.
Yeah, it does. Great volume, guys. 2.2 right now, up 7% this morning. Again, daily, you don't have a lot of information, but this daily, though, it does look great. And this pop here in continuation to hopefully hit some of these targets that we hit on their first and second date, just opening IPO here. So, again, we usually do not watch a stock that doesn't have a lot of history, but this one's been trading so well. If you look at some of these intraday plays, intraday days here, the intraday action looks amazing. So, RKT definitely are on our list. All right, let's take it to the chat, guys. Let's see what you guys have this morning. What do you like? Let's start here with Andy. Andy saying Messo's looking good. I think we looked at Meso. Let's go back to
Yeah,
it.
we did.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. Again, up 47%. It has been halted already on probably news, on news because again, as Nor mentioned, we do not have volatility halted during the pre-market. I personally don't like the way this is setting up right now, especially the daily as well, and the how light the volume is. So just be careful with that one. OSTK from Sam. OSTK, let's take a look here. So OSTK at the moment, their daily looks interesting, guys. Again, this thing has just been ripping. We were sitting just in June around 20. We're now at 100 and change here. The high 110 or so. A beautiful pullback here to 85. We've been holding that. So possible continuation into the trading day. I don't think at the open might be all that crazy. But again, this stock you want to be a little bit careful with because it can be a little bit wild. And just always look at the spread when it comes to OSTK. That's one thing you got to keep in mind here. You should look at the
Yeah.
spread on every stock you trade, but on this one, you want to make sure you don't miss that step at all. Let's see here. TLC. All right. So We're getting TLC. Let's take a look there. TLC this morning up 108%. I'm assuming this is going to be a low flow stock sitting at, oh no, actually 34 million shares flow. What kind of stock is this here?
Trading is a Taiwanese biotech that has some COVID inhalant
Mhm.
hydroxychloroquine news, I believe. I think that's the drug that they've done some kind of an inhalation deal with. Um, they're up a lot, but there's some worrisome stuff on that. Just in that unpacking all of it for it, Taiwanese, everything, just not my cup of tea. I keep seeing
Yeah,
the
yeah,
spread at times hit 10 to 12 cents, which is pretty high for a $10 stock.
yeah,
But we'll
yeah.
see. Maybe it trades well.
Yeah, I will keep this for entertainment. I'm not gonna be touching this. I look at the daily scares me. You got some stuff in here. I mean, just look at some of these wick guys on the
Look at what
5 minute.
happened last time it did that.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
want to definitely gonna it's definitely gonna halt.
Yeah, it opened up here, it shot up all the way up to 13 and slammed back again. Just be careful again. It is active. Definitely want to treat it like a low flow stock, guys. So there's 34 million shares right now. Just look at some of these transactions here. Be very careful. Um, Jesse's giving us CCL. Let's take a look there. CCL, what do we have at the moment? CCL 373. Not the typical volume we like to see from CCL, and it also seems very choppy in the pre-market action right now. A little bit all over the place at the moment. Not saying that it cannot be a great trading day over the last couple of days. All the travel companies have been giving some back a little bit here. So they're at an interesting area in the daily, at least for CCL. Are we going to hold this? Is this going to be the new support that it was prior resistance and then before that prior support? Or are we going to come back down to some of these levels we had here around 13.50, $13? So again, interesting situation for CCL, but right now I don't see anything great on it. I think we might be in for some chopper on this one. Let's see what else we have, guys. So that is CCL, TLC. We looked at Baidu, BIDU. At the moment, Baidu is nice gap down for them today, 4.9 here, 243. So that's good. I personally, this stock I am horrible at trading. Or when I used to trade, I don't trade it anymore. I just can't read the price action. It's like a baba. It just doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna add it. But if
They're on that same news as IQ. IQ is a subsidiary that they're
Mhm.
the video streaming subsidiary. So they're down on that SEC investigation news.
Yeah, so for that reason, guys, I'd rather watch IQ. I think IQ sometimes trades a little bit better. I had some more success with that one than I had with Baidu for sure. All right, let's take a look down. What else? What else? Okay, so ad audio is getting a little choppy. People are saying here. Refresh if it's not you guys. We'll try to reset the room. NKLA, the last one for our room here. NKLA, I like NKLA's daily. I'm gonna add this one. I like their daily. The pre-market action looks good. We got some volume here. We are up 1.5. Again, a very aggressive stock. Make sure you're mindful of your share size on this one. This thing can
Okay,
can get going pretty good.
go ahead and reset the room real quick. Then we'll hop into. We've got a decent list here, but apparently the room is really bad. So go ahead and
Yeah, let me
do.
reset this. All right, on YouTube, you should still be able to hear. So just give us a sec as we reset our audio here in the chat room. And then we'll start looking at some. We'll start with Sean here with Docu. We'll start with that one and pick up some of the stuff that you have in your list. If you already see it here on our chat room, guys, that means that we on our my watch list. That means that we already looked at it. So don't worry, we're gonna go back to those and look at them in detail. If that's the one, if you have one on that you were thinking of throwing out to us. All right, let's get reset here. Let's get the audio going.
Sorry for the delay, guys.
All right, guys,
We
sorry
will
for that.
be
Hopefully
right back.
that is better there, and the audio is coming into our chat room a little bit better at the moment.
Cool.
All right,
They're
let's
saying yes.
excellent. Let's start with Sean here. So Sean is giving us docu. Let's take a look there. No volume right now, Sean. So this is only 7,000 shares traded at the moment. So no action right now. Their day looks interesting. Possible continuation here, but that type of volume, can go either way. All right, let's take a look. What else we have? So we have Doc. Let's go up. Then we got Corey. We got Baba. Low volume right now. Um, yes. 229 is not that's not that bad for Baba actually. 229 is okay, it's decent. Remember, they are on the New York Stock Exchange, so they tend to have lighter volume. They do have a nice range for that type of volume too here. So I like what I'm seeing in the pre-market. Again, this is one of those stocks I just mentioned earlier. I don't trade very well, but if you do like this stock, this one you can see has a great pre-market action. Their daily looks interesting as well. You got a great support here that we just came off the last couple of days at 248. If it can break out of this range, 257, it could be a great opportunity. Or even within this range, it's a very wide range. You can find some action in there as well. So I'm not going to put it on my list, but definitely if you like them, you can throw it on yours. Let's see what we have here. Let's go down. Zoom, ZM this morning. Zoom has very light volume, only 19,000 right now. We haven't looked at the stock in some time. Look at the drop they had over the last couple of week or two. So bouncing back from that there, I see what you like here. You like this daily. This daily here is back at above this support area. Does it have more room to keep going, or are we going to create another new range down here as we move to the right? So I like the daily on it, but the pre-market is definitely not there. We will wait for this one to hit our scanners before we can add it to our list, or it needs more volume for sure. FSOY right now very light on volume, guys, only 42,000. This thing had a huge drop over the last couple of week or two. Nice drop here to 75, an area of previous support for them. They're bouncing back, but at the moment, again, it's just very light pre-market
Look at the
action.
spread. Is
This,
well, it just fixed itself, but it was
yeah,
60 cents right
yeah,
there for a second. So
and it's still bad. I mean, just look at the zeros in here.
it's yeah.
Yeah, it's be careful with that one. Also, again, that could be
It's
part of the
not
volume.
FS. I've traded this a few times in the last few weeks, and I've had winning and losing trades on it. But it's not. It's tough. It's a tough one to trade.
Yeah.
But look, there's a spread right there. You go 46 to
Yeah.
98, so you got
Mm.
53 cent spread.
Yeah. And these ones, guys, remember, there's only
And they're just
100, that's only 100, 200 shares. You'll drop down easily to 80, 36.
uh-huh.
At that point. So just be careful with that. Let's look at CRWD. We'll do two more BYND, and then we'll jump over to our community announcement. So CRWD right now, this one at the moment, no volume, guys. It's very light right now. I see you like it. The daily's coming back up here after a beautiful drop. Last time it did this, it found support, was able to give you a nice continuation here. So could happen. But again, the daily's just pretty bad right now. I'm sorry, the intraday is pretty bad with the volume. BYND also no volume, guys. So again, this one
Beyond
is,
the meat.
yes, very light on volume as well. This was active when we had some news of their competitors, I guess, signing up with a different vendor, whatever the case was. This became very active, but right now we're not seeing a lot on it. Um, all right, one more because I'm interested in this one, Peloton. I know we had some action on Peloton yesterday. So Peloton right now it has just no volume. Oh man, very light on the volume. But again, we had a pretty good day yesterday on it. So we'll see what happens there. All right, guys, let's go over to the community announcements and see what we got going on there, and we'll come back and fine tune this list.
Carlos got carried away looking at every stock you guys mentioned, so I'm going to fly through this. Robert Green from Green Traders Tax Success webinar from Wednesday night should be posted. I know it's also online on YouTube, so even if you're not a member or you're not a lifetime member, you can check it out there. Really useful information for US-based traders on trader tax status. And Section 475 mark-to-market accounting, amongst other things. Next week, Wednesday night, 8 p.m., we're going to have Creative talking about finding your mental edge. Cross between where your edge is technically, where your edge is mentally, and how to think and trade like a professional athlete to gain an edge in the markets. She's really great, so looking forward to that one, Wednesday 8 p.m. No member trade of the day today, guys, but Mike will announce the trade of the week, and good luck to everybody. Like I said, the ones Carlos looked at earlier, some really strong trades. That'll be announced later today. That winner will get a $100 gift card. We'll start all over again on Monday. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube and want to try out the chat, you can do so at a discount. Use the promo code PREMARKET24. That'll reduce the cost for the 7-day trial. 7 calendar days, 5 trading days. That includes Carlos's every Monday night live onboarding class at 8 p.m. Eastern on Monday nights. That's recorded if you can't make that time. But hope you can make it. And that doesn't turn into another kind of membership or auto renew or anything like that. Just 1 week and done.
All right, thank you, Nora. Appreciate that. All right, guys, let's look at what we have here. Someone mentioned mRNA, and I pulled it up. Their daily looks pretty interesting here. But again, just the way the stock has been trading, guys, we saw the last couple of days has been pretty choppy. So I'm not gonna add it on here. Their pre-market, not a whole lot of volume, starting to get going, 96,000 right now. But again, they're daily interesting if they're gonna hold this level here of prior resistance, good support over the last couple of month or so, and we'll see what happens here. So far, the last 4 days, I think have all tested this level here, so we'll keep an eye on it closely. All right, guys, let's look at what we have. So here's AMAT. Again, not the best pre-market action, but they got some great news here. They've been killing it. They're up 3.4 right now with 155. So you definitely want to keep this on deck. I do like IQ's drop here at 11%, 1.8 million shares traded. So hopefully that's not going to create some choppiness at the open. So be careful on this one. I'm going to make sure I wait my 5 to 10 minutes before taking a trade. Kind of get some candles in there after the open, after the bell, to see what the movement is like, right? So here we have DKNG at the moment. They're very active pre-market, guys. I do like their daily, although it's kind of stuck within this range. I like the fact that the last couple of days we got a beautiful rejection of this 36, and now we're slamming back down here. So we're at an area we can go both either way here. If we drop down, we got a beautiful level at 32. So I like this one right now. And we got some pretty good volume, down 6% this morning. RKT is beautiful pre-market action, probably one of the best pre-market actions we have to this morning. Good volume, 2.5. They again, these guys have been killing it. Probably one of the best IPOs we've seen in a very long time. So we'll see how that plays out today. And I have NKLA as well. Good pre-market action again. And this is one where you have to be very careful. Their daily also looks interesting. Remember, we had this drop here, beautiful double bottom here around 7 July, end of July. And then we've been ripping since then. Can we break out this area here? But either way, for intraday play, we do have some good pre-market action there. Now, as our possibles, we have OSTK. I'm looking out for that one. NVAX. Blink is on this list as well, very active at the moment. Tesla is on here, also good. INO with lighter volume than usual. So if this gets better, I'll add it to my main list. And CODX as well, starting to drop nicely here. I love the drop on CODX here, down 16%. You know what? Usually I don't watch this one, but this looks good today. We're going to keep it up here. Let's bring it up to our main list this morning. And we do have shares for short. Not sure if we're going to keep those into the market open, but at the moment, those are listed there. All right, let's do some levels. Oh, and FTSCH, I had this one top of AMAT. Pre-market is still not looking better, guys. I'm going to bring this one down. Still not looking great. So I'm not sure if we're going to get a good action at the open out of that one. All right, so AMAT, high of the pre-market, we have 67.86. Let's mark that down. The low of the pre-market, hanging around exactly 67. And then below that, you got the highs and lows from the last two trading days, created some good support levels there. Are we sitting at all-time high? No, we are not. Back in February, we have a nice little pop here, a level above our pre-market high, sitting at a 69.48. So I'm looking for hopefully a breakout above the pre-market high into the open. That might not happen right out of the gates, but again, that play is a nice one. I like the way the momentum these stocks get when they break out of those pre-market highs and lows. Next, we have IQ. So IQ right now down pretty nice at the moment, 11%. 1991 is the high of the pre-market, 1853 the low of the pre-market. So you got a nice little range there. Price action a little bit towards the upside, trying to get back to that pre-market high, which we tested already a few times here this pre-market. So that's what we have towards the bottom. If we were to lose that 1855, a beautiful level right in here at 1752, you can see the consolidation happening between a couple of days before we had this breakout. And then the following day, huge gap up there, right? So you have that there as well. The price action right now is actually sitting and has been consolidating. If you look at this 5 minute, around this 1937, right? A lot of action happening there. And if you look at if you go back and you look at this 1 day here before the gap up, right? That price action is right on it, 1942, 1937. So I'm going to mark that there. as well. We seem to be getting some kind of movement around that price action. We'll see if that's going to be a significant level at the open. Aside from that, guys, you're pretty much covered everything else towards the top. If we do decide to go higher, we do have a level here as well at 2079. Look at the great support there. The beautiful rejection after this gap down, and then eventually the breakout above this 2079. DKNG, this one again, very active. Crazy pre-market action at the start, starting to get a little bit better here. Still has great volume. Let's look at the pre-market low sitting at 33.40. So we'll mark that down. And then below that, you have the low from yesterday. So look at the range this thing has done just in the last 2 days. We're sitting at 32. We had a beautiful pop all the way to 36, and now we're back down to 34. So again, it's been chopping around the last few days. Now we're kind of breaking out of both the resistance and the support here. Let's see what this thing is going to do next. With this type of range, the highs and lows got you pretty much covered. Right now, your price action is sitting right at 34.04. It's your high from 2 days ago and your low from yesterday. So you got a good level of resistance and support happening here. And if you go back to your left, you can see how many days I've been testing this over and over again. So a lot of touch points around that price action right now. And we can see the consolidation here in the pre-market. I like seeing that because this thing can break one way or the other. Who's going to win? And we'll see at the open, and we can take advantage of that ride there. So I don't think you need to add any more levels. Very congested right now here, guys. We just need to see where the breakout is going to be off this 34 level that we have. RKT continues to be very nice here. You got your highs and lows here for the last 2 trading days, and not many levels, as we don't have a whole lot of information on this new recent IPO stock here. 2270 it's a level, and obviously all the way up here at 2469, and then your other level here is 2674. So again, plenty of level here. I love the daily here coming back down, finally supporting this 19 area. They have some great news today, and they're popping up nicely, up 8% with some pretty good volume. NKLA this morning, again, I do like the way their daily setting up here, guys. Possible breakout. Look at all the support and congestion towards the bottom here. The highs from the last 2 trading days and the lows. You got some moving averages on there. So again, do not need to add anything more towards the bottom. We already tested the high of yesterday here on the pre-market high 47.50. And above this, if we're able to get going, we do have slightly something here around 48.59 above that clear level at 51.74. And then you have another one right on here. Look at all the touch points on this one. 55.59. You got the support there, support, resistance, and more resistance on that 55.59. So plenty of levels on NKLA. Again, they had a beautiful drop here. Found support, nice double bottom, has been climbing its way out of this drop over the last couple of days here. And last one but not least, CODX. Again, this thing continues to drop here. Might become too extended by the time we get to the open here. Again, they're now down 60%, 16%. Not a whole lot of volume, just 174. High of your pre-market at 1859. We do have shares for short on this one. Your low of your pre-market over at 1736. Again, this thing has been getting hammered over the last couple of days. They have not been able to put in. Is that even a candle? Yes, a candle there. They have not been able to put in a green day ever since this pop here, all the way up to 31 almost. Again, just been all bad news for them since then. At the moment, if you can see, the pre-market low is going to be a very important level of support here. If you look at this line, you see all the support happening there. It was resistance for a couple of weeks, 1 or 2, and then again became great support before this breakout. So we were seeing the bounce on that pre-market right now. It looks like this thing wants to come back and test it one more time. Is that going to hold or create some short opportunities for us, right? The reason why these levels, the more they're touched, right, what happens here is it doesn't tell you that it's going to bounce or break through. You're not going to get that information from here. What you are going to get is increase in volume activity, people entering position, exiting, whatever the case may be, and that creates volume. And then you have to break out one way or the other. Are we going to support this and head back up? People that thought it was going to be short are going to quit on it, or vice versa. People thought that was going to be long are going to quit on it, and it's going to head the other direction. So that's the key there. That we're looking for these support levels to give us that type of information. All right, as far as possibles, we have a okay list. It's not great. We definitely have better on our possibles list. With that said, guys, let's head over to our members and see what the lineup is today and what they're watching this morning. So let's start with Mike. As usual, he likes his break of high and break of low scanners. So he'll be watching that, but he does like Apple and Baidu this morning. And Peter's watching AMD. Let's take a look at AMD, see what that is looks like today. So lighter on the volume this morning. IQ, DKNG, MU, AMAT, and RKT. And he's looking out for any room calls that moderators or members might have on their list as well. So again, the more ice, the better. Eamon has Baidu, RKT, Meso, IQ, Blink, and AMD as well. Tiffany's looking for scanners and anything that the room calls out, RKT, DKNG, and also Baidu. So again, notice how today a lot of us are going to be keeping our eyes on scanners because it is going to be one of those days where there's not a whole lot right now looking great, but at the open, you can look at the scanners and see what's going on there. Look at AMAT right now. AMAT is starting to get going, so hopefully it'll wait for us here. AMAT at the moment moving here nicely. Looks like it wants to break the high of the pre-market. IQ's okay. Got some volume. DKNG is okay. Again, I want to see it break out of this 34 up or down. RKT is good. NKLA is decent. And CODX continues to one head back down to that 1736. Let's see if it can slam on that. Jarvis list RKT, CODX, and he's also watching Tesla. So everyone, thank you so much. Have an amazing Friday today. Again, trade well. We're going into the weekend, so you want to make sure that you leave your last trading day of this week in good terms. Do not over extend yourself on positions. Do not force things. Let the positions come to you. Take your time in making sure that you're making the right decisions, and not more so the right decisions, following your rules. That is key. You have to follow your rules no matter what happens, green or red. You want to go into the weekend knowing you did that, you follow your rules, you were disciplined. Once you become an extreme disciplined trader, things are going to fall into place, including your P&L and your outcomes. So that is extremely important. Andrew's list is in. He is watching CCL, American Airlines, IQ, CODX, Nova, Baidu, and also AMD. And he's also adding RKT just because Jared and Tiffany have it on their list. So good stuff there. All right, guys, stay safe. Have a great weekend. Enjoy with family and friends, and we will see you guys back. Looking forward to see who wins the week the members week trade of the trade of the week. So looking forward to that. Good luck to all the participants, and we will see you guys next week. Take care.